a couple different reasons.
Hello, and welcome to We the Village, produced by Ron Hall, and I am your host, Sharonda Allen. And today I'm here with Aziza Kabibi. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I want to know about something about your background, a few things. Where are you from? What are you into?
Well, let's see. Well, I was born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey. I moved to East Orange in my teens with my family. Then ended up in South Jersey, and now I'm back in East Orange. I've been in East Orange for about 15 years now. There's a long history I've had quite a full life. I'm a mom. I have 5 children.
Wow.
Though one of my children passed away in 2010, so we miss her dearly. I also have a nonprofit called Precious Little Ladies. I'm a chef. I've been a chef for over 17 years, and I'm a published author. I have a book right now available on Amazon and in Barnes & Noble. It's called Unashamed, A Life Tainted.
Nice, very nice.
Thank you.
It sounds like my resume. We do so many things, and I love it. So can you tell me something about your organization, Precious Little Ladies?
Yes, Precious Little Ladies. Our mission is to strengthen the bonds between mothers and daughters to combat child molestation, domestic violence, sexual assault, and incestuous abuse. And I started the organization because I myself am a longtime survivor. My father, he was a music video director. He won an MTV Music Video Award for the Fugees' Killing Me Softly music video. But what a lot of people didn't know about him was that he was a pedophile. He started molesting me when I was 8 years old, and over the years, I gave birth to 4 children for him. I was homeschooled. I did not escape him until I was 24 years old. And now he's serving 90 years in prison for the crimes he committed against me and my sisters. So in my process of reestablishing myself and raising my children, I had a problem finding resources. And I decided that what I wanted to do was to take what happened to me and transform it into something positive by using my own experiences and figuring out a way on how to support other survivors, educate the public about these issues and how to prevent them, and also just be an advocate and raise awareness and really change the way people, the system, our culture thinks about child molestation and domestic violence, and really understand the impact that it has on our society as a whole. So that's how I started the organization, and it's been a labor of love since I started it in 2015, and we're making a lot of strides. So I'm encouraged, and hopefully a lot of people are encouraged as well.
That is quite a story.
Yeah.
I commend you for having the strength to talk about it, because I'm sure that's why you have your nonprofit, because everybody's told to hush about it. You know, sometimes people's mothers know about these things and they get mad at their daughters or their children, and things don't, get resolved. How did you gain the strength to talk about it, to have this situation in the forefront?
I think, well, since you mentioned that, a lot of mothers do kind of allow and enable the situation, that was the case with my mom. She considered me the other woman, so growing up as a teenager, I didn't have an advocate which is why my mission is to strengthen the bond between mothers and daughters, because it's not uncommon. A lot of times a mother will blame the daughter for pulling the attention of her man or of her partner away from the mom. And that was the case in my situation. As far as finding the strength, I think that it was something that was probably always in me as a child, something that my Creator had given me. And I believe that we all have the strength to go through a lot of things that we're faced with, but it's really about learning to access it. So I believe that I maintained kind of like my childlike innocence and trust just in God, in the universe, and just always just saw ways. And I just always knew that one day I would be able to escape my father. It was really about finding out or learning how to do that. So now being able to talk about what happened to me, I think I am mostly fueled by the empathy that I feel for other children, for other women, and I'm just really driven to rid the world. Ultimately, it sounds like a big a big endeavor, but ultimately rid the world as much as possible of these things, because it's destroying our society.
And it's such a hushed thing, and like you said, where sometimes mothers look at their daughters as their competition, and I think we need to deal with those situations, those mindsets, that psychosis, because I haven't been in that situation, but I've seen things like that happen.
Right.
And it often makes me wonder, what are they thinking? I mean, it's simple to say, but
well, I mean,
like,
I'm sure,
how?
Sharonda, you are aware of how it is out here for women, and especially for Black women. My daughter, my eldest, she just shared with me some information, a study that was done on the hierarchy of marriageability. And Black women are on the bottom, and the browner the skin, the lower that they are.
Yes.
So, the competition is there, and I think it's too much.
It is.
In our culture, in all ethnicities, honestly.
Yeah.
There's some form of this competition to gain the attention of a man. And I don't know, maybe, primarily that's how it's set up to be. It's like a dog-eat-dog world.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't exist in a family between a mother and a daughter. But unfortunately, it does. I do think that for Black families, our history in America has contributed to that.
Oh, yeah.
When we were the property of other people, we were pit against each other, light versus dark, and it was a form of survival. But my experience, my mother, she married my father at a young age. They were high school sweethearts. She was in love with him. He was an adulterer. And eventually he declared that he was polygamous. So she had to deal with having other women and having to accept other women in our household. So I grew up knowing my father to be sexually involved with other women. But then when he started molesting me, I believe, and from my observation, she really struggled with, not being number one anymore. And one thing that she did tell me was that she can't compete with me because I was a child and she was an adult. And if he was attracted to children, then there's just no room for her. So it really put a strain on our relationship. Over the years, we did heal a lot. I believe we were close. We were girlfriends. I believe, though, that because she was very young when she married my father, and now here I am in the world, reestablishing myself, raising my family, she looked to me a lot for advice. And we would go out, we'd go and party on a Saturday and go to church in the morning. And, she was the first person that I spoke to in the morning, last person at night. But other things has happened in our family that was a result of kind of the continued dysfunction from the abuse from my father, that now I just feel like, you know, we kind of grew apart to a certain degree, but I'll always love her and wish the best for her. So,
and that's beautiful, because that shows that you have healed. Because sometimes we can hold that grudge, but sometimes we have to know that she needed healing. She needed someone to help her.
Right.
And for myself, my daughter's 23. I had her when I was 20. But because of all the things that I have seen,
Right.
oh my goodness, I didn't have to go through everything to know about it. I kept my male, whatever I might have had or didn't have. I made it a point not to really have men around her. I was very protective of my daughter, because I said, I have a pretty little girl. I can't leave her around different men. I can't leave her around different people, family or not, because I've heard and I've seen things. So I feel that I've protected her a lot. And sometimes we don't always know to protect our daughters that way. But because of what I saw already from everywhere in the world, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to have my daughter have that as her story. She can have another story, but that's not going to be her story.
Right, exactly.
You know? So I wanted to know, where is PLL located?
PLL is based in East Orange.
Okay.
We do have, we collaborate with New Jersey Federal Credit Union for office space.
Okay.
As well as I have a radio show called Up Close and Personal on WZYE, FCC community radio station in East Orange. So they also allow us to use their offices. But we are very prominent on social media, because that's where a lot of the young people are. So you can find us anywhere, PLL Nonprofit. And we really use the power of media to raise awareness. I mean, we look at Surviving R. Kelly, how much that has changed, you know, the way people view survivors and view victims and develop preventative measures. So we do a lot of work that way. We also have a program called Girl, We've Got You Covered, where we provide health and beauty products to women escaping abuse. We collaborate with different domestic violence shelters in order to do that. I do a lot of public speaking. I was featured in Glamour magazine. I was just recently on a show called Evil Lives Here on Investigation Discovery. I've been on the Katie Couric show, so I do a lot of public speaking about the issues. And we have an event coming up called the Raising Awareness Kite Flight. So my method is to, because it's such a hard conversation to have, and it's like very bitter medicine. I use the analogy of taking a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. So we try to plan events that are fun and engaging, and really educate the public on how to find resources, because that was my issue. My father delivered all of my children at home. So when I escaped him and was reestablishing myself, my children did not have birth certificates or social security numbers. Now, being my situation was so unheard of and so uncommon, Social Security didn't know how to deal with it. Social services didn't know how to deal with it. Welfare didn't know how to deal with it. So I had to find my own way. I had to go directly to Trenton and help them create a process to help me. So I'm taking all of that information and creating ways to help other women and other families that's in my same situation, really help get them on track to come from. I mean, girls, women, they're having children. There are so many children that are undocumented that were born in America. And the process, I mean, no one, usually you have a baby in the hospital and, you know, birth certificate's filled out. No one knows how to start it from scratch. So we're actually working with Senator Ron Rice to help kind of get these things in place, or at least prepare the system for something like this. That way it's easier for them to go through.
You know, I have never contemplated that. That is an interesting phenomenon. Undocumented Americans. You have me so speechless here today. And I'm never speechless. I'm very rarely. I've probably been speechless probably 5 times in my whole life. And that is something, because I'm glad that you are partnering with a politician slash legislator, because we need those types of protections and those directions, because I'm sure there are girls who have experienced that, but for him to have the expertise to know how to deliver a child, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I mean through him, and it's something because there is a dichotomy, especially when it's a parent that has hurt you, because I learned everything, not everything, but a lot of what I know from my father. He schooled me. He gave me the education that I had up until I was 11 years old. He trained me. He motivated me. Yes, it was under an iron fist, but you know, it instilled in me certain disciplines. And one of those was the ability to think outside of the box. So when I came up against a lot of challenges, there was no barriers. I didn't have any boundaries to say, well, because I don't know, I'm afraid to ask. I just asked, I sought, and through that process, I'm just got all of this information. So, you know, I use the organization to share it. Another local legislative assemblyman, Benji Wimberly, he has also been very supportive in getting these things. You know, it's a long process. It is the government. It can be tedious, but you know, one step at a time, we're working on it. And with every step, another one follows. So.
Wow. I know this is very important to our community. So I know with your mission, you're dealing with domestic violence, incest, you know, can you just say your mission statement? Because this is something else. What is your mission statement?
So the mission statement is strengthening the bonds between mothers and daughters to combat child molestation, domestic violence, incestuous abuse, and sexual assault. And some people approach me is like, well, you're not including the boys, because while the statistics are 1 in 4 women have been molested before they're 18, but with boys it's 1 in 6 boys, so it is prevalent in boys as well. Our culture just handles it differently. So we do not exclude anyone. The entire family is involved in our events and in our programs.
Yeah, so what are those programs?
So one program is the Raising Awareness Kite Flight that is going to happen yearly. This year it's September 21st in East Orange. Another one is a family empowerment fair that we put on last year, where we had different organizations with resources come and share their information. But it was supplemented by 3 workshops that we offered to the community. One on sexual abuse awareness, social media etiquette, and another on self-defense. The Girl We've Got You Covered program, where we provide health and beauty products to women in domestic violence shelters. And we have a monthly survivor support group in East Orange. Yeah, it is once a month. We just went online through our Facebook group. So we're able to reach more people by doing the support group online, but we're looking to have it more often. Right now we do it at the East Orange Public Library, and we only have access once a month, but we're looking to grow and expand so that we could give these survivor support groups more often and they could reach more people.
Wow. I mean, that's such important work, because it's one thing for people to say, I'm going to start this because whatever, but your experiences and to know how people have to rebuild or restart, like, you know, with that birth certificate, I'm like, what? Like, that is, they don't have anything already on the books about that?
Not to do it from the position that I had to do it. Not for a mother to show up with a baby that had been born. I mean, my eldest was, I believe she was 8 at the time that I was able to get her birth certificate.
Wow.
So I had to prove that I had her in the town that I was saying. I had to prove who her father was. So there was a lot. It was a long process, but I know it now, so I can tell someone else.
Oh my goodness. So tell me about how you're funded, because I know it takes money to do this. I know you did partner with the credit union, or, you know, to get the location, but How do you get your funding and your donations?
A lot of personal donations. After I was on Investigation Discovery, a lot of people from all over the world did send some donations. In 2017, we did get a small grant from Investor Savings Bank.
Nice.
In 2016, we got a grant from Uber. So it's really a lot of in-kind donations. We partner with other organizations to help provide like the feminine products for the Girl We've Got You Covered bags. Often it's out of my pocket. You know, I will literally take my tax returns and take 50% and give it to the organization. So, but we've done crowdfunding. You're right, fundraising is a struggle. So we're just looking for sponsors and partners in order to continue to help us fund this effort. We take a lot of volunteers, but it's me and most of the time it's myself and my executive manager who we're doing a lot of the groundwork. And my children, of course, they're right there with me, like the one that's back there.
Oh yeah, that was so exciting. I was like, I feel a little verklempt.
And you know, friends, and I meet so many people along the way through my journey. I've met a lot of people that's been extremely supportive. So you know, but we need money, y'all.
Yes.
So hopefully, give. Everything is on the website.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what are some of the challenges? I know fundraising is definitely a challenge, you know, but what other obstacles or issues do you find are very challenging just to get, like you said earlier, I know it's big, but like, and that may be a challenge. Like, how do you deal with these? What are they, and how do you deal with them?
A lot. Well, one, being able to sleep through the night. I swear, I eat, sleep, and dream like PLL all the time.
Really?
And sometimes I have to tell my executive manager, like, you can take a break from this. You know, she was on a date, and she's like, oh my gosh, I got emotional. I was sharing what we do. For me, I've accepted that, you know, this is my life. You know, I see my children every day. I love them dearly. That does not escape the fact that, yeah, they are a reminder, and I'm working towards providing a better life for them than where I have come from. So it is a constant, but I think I have accepted my purpose. So challenging, yes, sleep is a challenge. Getting people organized and as passionate as I am. I don't know if anybody will be as passionate as I am, but true. You know, so that can be a challenge, but you know, nothing worth doing is ever easy.
True.
So, you know, I accept it, and for every door that closes, another one opens. And I just take one step at a time.
I commend you for being so transparent and uplifted, because this, you know, some people turn into alcoholics, drug addicts, suicidal, and
mental issues, everything. Everything is such a contributing factor to a lot of what our society, the issues that we have, you know.
And you have such a light.
Oh, thank you.
You do, because when I met you, I was like, oh my God, come here. Come here.
You just pulled me out.
I was like, come here. Come talk to me. I don't even know if you bought cake or not, but I
did.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
did. I bought your banana cream, your banana pudding cake.
It's
yes,
amazing.
which was absolutely delicious.
Thank you, prize winner. I'm trying to tell y'all. But I was like, her light is just like, come here. I have to know you. And I try to make a point to not get everybody's whole story until we get here. Because, you know, I saw your card. I'm like, this is cute. You know, you're not private. Okay, cool. Don't spread it out yet, because I want it to be so authentic and so like, what? Like I'm saying, like, when I do my thumbnail thingies for the YouTube, I'm like, oh, my face is gonna be so like, I'm like, I don't care, because everybody's gonna know that was the Aziza interview, and hopefully it could really help other people to speak and not keep it inside, because people sometimes they keep it in and it eats away at them.
Right, it does. And a lot of people don't Well, I don't know if they well, they obviously don't acknowledge, but a lot of
Yeah.
people don't recognize how your mental state, your spiritual state has such an impact on your physical.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm exhausted, my body shuts down. I have allergies, you know, and it's just, it's necessary for women, more importantly, to be able to manage stress. And a lot of times keeping the secret. That's
Yeah.
where one of the symptoms is physical ailments.
Yes.
A child who is being sexually abused will tend to have asthma or allergies or other health issues that seem to have just popped up. And it is because of the physical stress of keeping the secret.
Right. So let me ask you, what are your goals for like the next 5 years? Some of your plans?
The next 5 years, we are looking to have a dedicated location for Precious Little Ladies, because we are, you know, we're sharing.
Right.
So we do want a dedicated location where we could provide our services more consistently, more often. I just graduated. Well, not just graduated. Last year, I graduated with 2 bachelor's degrees, magna cum laude, in broadcast journalism and media production.
Nice, yes.
So I would like to I have the radio show now, but I would like to do more broadcast and more anchoring.
Nice.
And for the organization, just be able to expand, have some satellite locations. We have had requests to bring PLL to South Africa, to India. And that's the amazing thing about the internet and social media, is like you access people all over the world.
Yeah.
So we're just looking to definitely expand our volunteers and employee network. You know, hopefully by then we will be more fully funded, and have some more events under our belts and have more people involved.
This is such an important undertaking. So where can we find more information, and how can people donate?
So you can go to the website, preciouslittleladies.org, and the donate button is right there. You can click donate. You can choose either through Mighty Cause or Donor Box to do a subscription, like a reoccurring donation, even if it's just $1 a month, $10 a month. You know, everything is tax deductible. We are a 501c3, so you get your tax credits at the end of the year, and even collaborations. A lot of times, in-kind donations. We do have on the website the sites where we collect health and beauty products to give to our Girl We've Got You Covered. Just reach out, info@preciouslittleladies.org with any questions.
I love it. I am so grateful to you for coming on. Thank you for taking your time.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Aziza. And thank you all for tuning in to We, the Village.